everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Alright, let me shut down the music first. Hello, morning everyone, welcome back. Okay, so today is 17th November 2020, Tuesday already, right? And then today we're going to talk about the current market situation. So is the stock market overdosed with excitants? What is the excitant? We all know it is the vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, right? So recently we got two great news about COVID-19 vaccine. One is the Pfizer, right? We talked about several days ago. And the other one is Moderna, which is yesterday news came out about its vaccine. And this news about the vaccines, actually I think as excitant for the stock market. But if the market overdosed with excitant, is it really a good thing? Okay, so then how to become a constant winner in the stock market? So what's the secret of all those constant winners in the stock market? And also, I will analyze for you the chances and risks under the current market situation. All right? And the second part will be about individual stock analysis. And you need to WhatsApp me your stock name. All right? So this is my WhatsApp number. If you don't WhatsApp me, then I don't get any individual stocks WhatsApp to me. Maybe I will cancel this second part in future, because seems like you're not very interested in diagnosing your own stocks, right? So if really I will still let's say remain this section for now. But if in future I don't get any WhatsApp message, I will consider to remove the second part. All right. So if you still want to diagnose, maybe you WhatsApp me. As long as you're interested in diagnosing your stocks, I will help you do that. All right. So then, before we begin, I still need to remind you that all the stocks mentioned in the video are for the purpose of demonstration and education, no recommendation. Investors should be aware of the risks involved in stock trading and take full responsibilities for their own tradings. Okay. So firstly, I believe you already all heard about the Moderna news, right? The Moderna yesterday announced that its vaccine for COVID-19 initially has been proved to be more than 95% effective. That's great news because previously we had the news for Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. The efficacy rate is only 90%, and also it has to be preserved and at minus 70 degrees Celsius degree, so that is very low temperature, and not a lot of companies can guarantee such kind of low temperature, right? But for Moderna's vaccine, it turned out to be, it is announced to be, said to be more than 95% effective, and also it doesn't have to be preserved at such a low temperature, right? That's why we see yesterday for the U.S. market, let's check NASDAQ, right? Last night break up the half level of this long bearish candle, and also which this level is the high price of the previous yellow Taiji. We mentioned about this also yesterday. The level is around 11,895 points, right? So actually, hadn't it been for such kind of great news, so from the angle of technical analysis, actually the correction is really necessary, right? We have mentioned this, but this news about COVID-19 vaccine, they are the excitants for the stock market. Even when the market feels very tired after a very forceful rally here for short term, but it just cannot stop going up because this is the effect of the excitant, right? But we know that if a person is overdosed with excitant, that will be harmful to the health, right? To the person's health. So it's the same for the stock market. So currently, let's say the market now is not really healthy. It's not at a very healthy state. I'm not talking about medium term to long term. I'm talking about the short term. All right. So maybe let's say many people feel that stimulated by this news, the market might, let's say, continue going up still for a very long time, a lot. But I tell you, when most of people feel very confident about the stock market, everybody becomes irrationally crazy about the market, and no one believes that the market is going to drop. Then the market might drop out of our expectation. When we least expect the correction might come. Okay, so means what? If you want to become let's say a constant winner in the stock market, you have to always bear in mind the risks of stock investment. All right, so that is the current market situation. Yes, market has been very bullish. So firstly, the Pfizer news, we have a big upward gap. This is not for Nasdaq. It's not a big upward gap. it gap up open, but it closed low. That's the Monday, right? We have the Pfizer news, vaccine news. But for the other two indexes for the US market, that's a big upward gap, right? And then last night, after this news about Moderna vaccine, then the market break up the strongest resistance this is for Nasdaq. And then if you check for S&P 500, yes, the price already break up the resistance the day before yesterday. And last night, another forceful rally, right? And then for Dow Jones also, price already break up the previous high, and the levels we can check are already marked here for you, right? But what I mean is the market actually stimulated by the news, right? So now it's really, really very high for short term. And I'm not sure how long the effect might last. The news, the influence of this vaccine news can last. But what I'm sure is it may not last for that long, as I have been expecting by a lot of people. Because for short term, it's really, really very high. So the levels we need to pay close attention should be, for example, for US market, right, the Dow Jones. Last night, this is a long bullish candle. I mentioned about half level of the long candle. So this is the first level. It's around 29,804. If, let's say, in near future, the price drop below the level, and also if it even continue dropping to be lower than the bottom of this upward gap here, so that might be the beginning of the correction. After such a forceful rally for short term, the correction in future also might be a forceful one. It's possible. So if you want to become a constant winner in the market, you have to bear in mind such kind of possibilities, such kind of risks, right? And this is for Dow Jones. Then just now we checked S&P 500, right? S&P 500, firstly, you also need to check there is a small upward gap here. And last night, long bullish candle. Once the price dropped below the bottom of this small upward gap, and also even a drop below the high of the previous yellow Tai Chi signal, which is around the half of this first long bullish candle here. This is the second, this is the first, right? And then that might be the beginning of a forceful correction for short term. And of course, we have the final defense line, which will be the bottom of this previous upward gap here. This is the bottom is the final support line, defense line. If the price drop below, the correction might be even a bigger one, or maybe it would drop with greater force, because support below may not be that strong until the price touches the yellow lines of Homely Rainbow, right? So this is the S&P 500. Then this is Nasdaq. We checked Nasdaq last night. It just break up a bit the half level of this long bearish candle and the high of the yellow Tai Chi, but can it be a successful breakthrough? Still need to check. If tonight it dropped below, so it's still a false breakthrough, not really an effective breakthrough, right? Okay, so then we say that we bear in mind the potential risks for in near future for price to drop, but does it mean that we need to be let's say feel overwhelmed by the potential risks? We dare not make any tradings. We dare not to do any tradings. Also, that's not necessary, because on one hand we bear in mind the risks, but on the other hand we should never be overwhelmed by the stock market, because the market, as long as you have effective trading principles, especially your stop loss rules, right, you can be quite safe. And you also can catch the great opportunities, because this is the reason why we trade stocks. The stock market can give us big profits, but this kind of big profit cannot be, you cannot get it very easily. You need to have your own effective trading system. Also, you need to practice. Okay, so then how do we deal with the chances and risks for the current market situation then? Okay, so we talk about, I forget to talk about the STI, right? So STI, we see, this is until yesterday, right? Yesterday, the price give us a long bullish candle here, which is already very close to the high of the previous yellow Tai Chi. This is the previous yellow Tai Chi I mentioned in my previous videos. And the high price is around 2,785. And if we check the current value for our STI, today until now, it's around 2,776. 2,776, already very close to the high of the previous yellow Tai Chi signal I mentioned, right, previously. If the upward momentum is strong, it might even going to touch the 2785 level, strongest resistance, and in the means correction, maybe a touch, then drop. And then when do we know that there would be a big drop? When the price, firstly, a drop below this small upward gap here. This is yesterday, after yesterday's small upward gap. If the price drop below, and then high probability can even drop further. Let's see, and the support levels below, of course, there is another gap. Once the gap covered, also would be support. And if the price continue dropping further, maybe the price might have to go deeper to touch the strongest support around 2,515 something. This the bottom of this long blue bar here is 2,515. Okay, so this is for the support and resistance levels for our STI. All right. So and then how do we deal with the current market situation, the chances and the risks? Okay. So recently I have talked about the value stocks for Singapore, for US. Let's say the banks, and also let's say we have the electric vehicle sector, which also might have great potentiality in future, and also the high-tech companies, especially the high-tech giants in future, also may give us great chances, great profit, right? But this is, we're talking about the long term. In the long run, they would be quite good. But then how about for short term? Let's say, for example, our Singapore market, the banks, right? So banks. So DBS here. DBS here, we have the yellow Tai Chi. Although the price didn't really drop below the low price of the yellow Tai Chi signal here, but it also didn't break up. If we check the current value for DBS today, is it Singapore market? Let me change. Yeah, later also we will talk about iFast, right? Because yesterday I mentioned. Okay, later we talk about D05. Yes. Okay, so today is upward gap. We will have an upward gap, and until now the price already went up by 1.49%. The price now is $24.61. $24.61. 24.61. Okay, so it's already higher than the high price of this previous yellow Tai Chi signal, right? So in near future, even if it continue going up, then if it turn downward again, a drop below the yellow Tai Chi here, that would be the beginning of the correction. On one hand, we know that it has been bullish, but on the other hand, we need to know that it's already very, very high for short term, and we have the danger alert signal, so a correction in future would be necessary. It's a must. It's just when it would come, tomorrow or this week or next week. But I think it's very, very difficult for the for the banks to continue such kind of strong upward momentum for another 1 week. So I really am not sure about that. Maybe in the future, if there is any sign, any bearish sign, the price show any bearish sign and it drop below the significant support level here, that would be the beginning of a correction. After that, I mentioned for the conservative investors, it will be better for you to consider buying again after that correction. Until now, you don't want to chase after it, right? And also for those who already made profit, right? Who already made profit from this stock, I think in near future you need to consider taking profit for short-term trading. But we don't need to do it, let's say, immediately. Maybe we can just we just check the important support levels. For DBS, that would be the low of this yellow Tai Chi signal. Once the price drop below, so higher probability, it would give us the correction. For short-term trading, we can leave already. But for the banks, we say for medium-term to long-term, in future, it might give us great opportunity because the economy would recover and the stock market would also already turned to long-term, medium-term to long-term bullish, right? We check the U.S. Actually our STI, right? STI already also are around the brink of long-term bullish reversal, right? So higher probability, medium-term to long-term, the market would be great. But for short-term, we need to take notice of the risks, especially for stocks which have been quite strong recently, which have kept going up all the time recently, very strong ones. I'm just taking DBS as an example. For UOB and OCBC, it will be the same. And also for the U.S. market, the banks. Also, if you're interested, you can talk with me after that. I have a lot to share with you, but the time is limited. I cannot just share with you all in a very short time. All right, so this is for DBS, and then let's say apart from DBS, we also have some other stocks who have been quite strong recently, right? Let's say both of Dark Horse. Yesterday it went up, and today UOL it also went up a bit. When I was checking, yeah, it also went up, right? So for this kind of stocks, now they're still quite bullish. We can, if you already bought at a low position, keep holding, right? Keep holding, but you need to know it's very high for short term already. Once the bearish sign show itself, you better take profit for short term. Okay, be aware of the potential risks for short term for the current market. For this kind of strong stocks, all right? And then this is for this kind of stocks. We see the chances and risks already analyzed for you, the strong ones, right? And the value stocks in future, which may have great potentiality in future, how to deal with them. And then for, let's say, some other stocks, let's say iFast, it's a different type. Recently, it didn't went up a lot. It's a correction, right? It's a correction, and yesterday I mentioned it. This is a first risk cycle, but today, up until now, we still haven't yet got the confirmation to buy, because we say the confirmation would be the close price should be higher than the high price of the first recircle candle, right? So for this type, right, after recently in correction and then turned out to be the first recircle, that type might be safer to consider to catch the current market chances. Yes, so for iFast can keep monitoring. If the price never drop below the half of yesterday long bullish candle, so we are quite safe actually. And we see now the price is around the half level, right? So we keep monitoring. Then if it never drop below the half, we can consider the buy. As long as the price can break up the high of the first recircle candle, we will be quite safe. Okay, so this is for this type, because not only for Singapore, for other markets, we also have such kind of stocks showing us maybe the first recircle, and also the US market. We have a lot of stocks show first recircle last night and also recently. You can actually catch the opportunities. Yeah, and the other thing is I forgot. Yesterday I mentioned about the U.S. stock Boeing, right? So Boeing belongs to the industrial sector, and we see also it's around the birth of that horse. It's going to break up the white lines of Homely Rainbow. I mentioned yesterday. 12 p.m. yesterday, right? So this one, the pattern is very beautiful. You remember? I mentioned the pattern is very beautiful. Short term, the upward momentum still quite strong. And the pattern here is very beautiful yesterday. Big boys increase, retailer decrease. And we say first the target is around the first white line of Homely Rainbow. That's around $214.25, and we see yesterday is a forceful rally, and it's around the second white line. If tonight it continue going up, and if it can just break up the first white line immediately and show no sign of dropping, you can still keep holding, safely keep holding. Okay, and when to sell, you check the latest long bullish bar in near future. Then check the half level to decide your sell points for short-term trading. But this kind of stock I mentioned, it's not only short-term we have some chances. Even for medium-term to long-term, we will have chances. Because these stocks, it didn't go up for the past 10 months, in the last 10 months. Okay, so if the market is really going to be a medium-term to long-term bullish, these kind of stocks would be at a very low position and would go up, have a bigger rising space in future. Compared with the, let's say, the currently very popular high-tech giants, already very high. In future, of course, in terms of long-term, medium-term to long-term, they still have very great potentiality, but only that position already very high. But for this kind of stocks, their low position, we will be quite safe. Our cost will be lower, right? So this would be great choices for even medium-term to long-term in future. But we need a confirmation. The price need to break up the white lines. The white lines need to go flatten upward. All right. Okay. So this is the chances and risks I have already analyzed for you. Let me summarize for you. Okay. So for those stocks which have been quite strong recently, and just around the medium-term to long-term bullish reversal, we call it birth of dark horse, right? For this kind of stocks, let's say, for example, the banks, Singapore banks, US banks, and Malaysia banks, the same, right? Bank stocks, and also some strong, some sectors of value. Let's say the industrial, the U.S. market industrial, and for Singapore also some stocks. But Singapore, the sector effect is not as strong as not as evident as the U.S. Right? For the U.S., we know the high tech sector, high technology sector, very good. The electric vehicle also belongs to that sector, right? And also we have the industrial sector for U.S. also quite strong, I mentioned for you, right? And actually a lot of sectors, and also remember we have the new and the clean energy, the solar sector. Also a lot of sectors worth attention. Yes, this is one thing. This is the chances we can have. But for short term, we need to be aware of the potential risks, especially for those stocks who have been quite strong recently, have rose a lot. And then I mentioned about sets. And actually for sets, it has been quite strong, right? Until today, it also went up a bit, right? I remember. It also, yes, it continued going up. Yeah, because of the good news, right? I already analyzed it for you. I don't want to repeat. And for these kind of stocks, you need to be aware of the potential risks for short term. All right, this is one thing. For the other thing is, for some stocks which show you the first risk cycle and at a low position, and after a correction recently, that kind of stocks, maybe for short term, we have chances. Let's say iFast is one of the, is an example of this type, okay? Yes, for US, for Singapore, we have, Singapore not so many, but for US, we have a lot of stocks showing the first risk cycle yesterday and recent several days, okay? Yeah, and finally, there is one thing, which is after we have the COVID-19 vaccine news, right? So for the airline stocks, actually that is very good news. That's why we see today all the airlines stocks have been quite strong. SES is the one, is one of them. Just now we checked SES, all right, are also still quite strong today. And then apart from SES, we have SIA. SIA also went up because this is very good news. If we have the vaccine, then for airlines, that is very good news. And also for some entertainment sectors, this would be good news. And you can try to find some stocks belonging to that sector. These sectors will be benefited from the vaccine news, entertainment and airline, and travel in future, right? This is traveling, right? Okay, so C6L. Okay, so SIA here is still some distance from the white lines here, and it's not as strong as SETS because it's still below the white lines. And once in future the price touch resistance levels turn downward again, then correction might come first. Okay, because recently we have gap. This is for short term, also quite a big rally. And then we have SIA engineering, right? S59. Okay, so today it's upward gap, and also now is around the white lines of Homely Rumble. This would be very strong resistance in near future. Okay, so the rally for short term is already very fast one. So in near future, if face resistance turn downward again, that would be beginning of the short term correction. Okay, so among these three, SIA, Singapore Airline, and SETS, right? So actually, SETS is the strongest one because it already reversed to medium term to long term bullish, because the price already above the white lines, and the white lines already turning upward. Check again. Sets, right? You see? The white lines already upward. It already successfully reversed to long-term bullish. Okay. So this is about the contents for today. Let me check. Do you have stocks you'd like to diagnose? Let me check. Okay. So there is want to check AEM. Okay. So for AEM, let's check AEM. Okay, so for AEM, it still remain weak because still below the yellow lines of homely rainbow strong resistance. And now the price is still around the support of the blue lines. So means the price needs to choose a direction, either to break up the resistance level here or either to drop below the support and then drop further. And now the big boy is a bit weak. We have retailers around 25%. It's still quite weak. So no chance now for this one. Okay, no chance. And then this another US stock. There's another FIZZ. Wow, this one has been quite strong. Okay, so if you check, you see, this is one of the example I mentioned. If there is a correction recently, and it turned out to be the first recircle, right? And you see, first recircle, 11th November, and that's, I think that is the day when we have the Pfizer news, right? Is it? Oh no, it's not. The Pfizer news came out, 9th November, last Monday. Yeah, last Monday, I think. So that's after the news, the Pfizer news, right? And 11th November and first recircle. And you see the purple line turn upward. The big boy is above 50 already. Then the second day is a confirmation to buy, right? And then, yes, reason to this keep going up. So this is very beautiful. So I think maybe this friend, you are homely member, right? I believe you are following the homely software indicator to trade. Okay, so these two stocks. Do we have some other stock? No. Okay, so today we only have two stocks to diagnose, right? Okay, so then that's all for today, I suppose. And then before we finish, this is my Facebook public page, right? So if you like it, don't forget to follow me. And if you feel this one is helpful, also can share with your friends. If we have more and more friends join us to learn and improve together, I will get bigger motivation to produce you much more and more splendid contents in future. All right, so I guess I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.